So one of the reasons I'm making this video, a lot of times the clients that I'm talking to will have a strategy session at the beginning to kind of come up with what's the situation, what fits for where you're at, what fits your particular ex, what caused the breakup. But sometimes after that strategy session, it's really easy to get your mind to hyper-fixate on that person. Like where are we in the process? Okay, I've been doing no contact for a week. I've been doing no contact for 2.5 weeks. I've been doing no contact for 4.5 weeks. Is this working? And it's really easy to hyper-fixate on that person, finding them online, checking these little creative ways to kind of peek in and see if they're still with that new person, to see if they're showing any signs of liking you. Are they listening to songs that the two of you used to like together on Spotify? Are they making any new payments to somebody you don't know on Venmo? I mean, there's all kinds of little creative ways to spy on the person that you're trying to wait to get back. And it's also one of the more emotionally and mentally draining things you can do. So I wanted to make this video for people to listen to. Once you have a strategy, once you understand what the best option is, it's really easy to get frustrated once you're in that stage where you're waiting. And there's a big part of no contact. There's a big part of winning back a relationship that you think was good enough and strong enough and healthy enough that it deserves another chance. Even in those cases, most of the time, it's going to involve a chunk of time where you're just what I call staring at rocks. And it's really hard to replace the power of silence and the power of space. So when you're in no contact, part of it is you're projecting strength that you might not feel. As a matter of fact, it's almost a guarantee that you won't feel it all the time. If you're in love and somebody broke your heart, of course it's going to feel really difficult. It's going to be really painful. And it's natural for it to even feel hopeless, for despair to settle in. Well, when you're in despair, what do? Instinctively, you focus on the thing causing you pain. Again, if I'm on fire, then the first thing I'm going to try to figure out is how do I put out the fire? Then I'm going to try to figure out how I got caught on fire in the first place. But you get the idea. Whatever's causing your pain is going to demand your attention. So when a relationship coach comes online and says, hey, here's a big part of what you need to do to win your ex back. Number one, don't talk to him. Number two, try to stay out of their life as much as you can. Number three, don't fixate on them. Number four, don't look at them online. Don't try to find out what you can. Don't try to get new information. All of it seems so counterintuitive and unnatural and illogical. It's really difficult. It's easy to understand. It's really difficult to do. So part of the reason I'm making this video is to give you something to grab onto, something to focus on. Because it's really hard to tell somebody who's like drowning or on fire in any kind of life-threatening, and that's what it feels like when you're in a breakup that's so painful. You know you're not in physical danger, but the panic, the despair, the hopelessness, the depression, the darkness that can kind of flood over you feels a lot like fear of death. Because you are afraid of something dying. You're afraid of the life that you had in mind. That life is going to die. And maybe you're still alive, but now you feel like you're living in an alternate reality of what your life should have been, because your life should have been spent with them. So this is part of the reason why I'm making this video. Now, a little warning up front. Some of the things I'm going to tell you to do, you're going to want to reach through the video and slap me. So I'm trying to give you a little bit of a pre-warning. Some of the things I'm telling you to do, it'll sound like I'm trying to trick you. Like I'm trying to tell you to get over them. Because by the time you do the things, and some of it sounds generic. Honestly, it will. It'll sound like some of the things that your friends and family are telling you. But I'm telling you for a different reason. I'm not telling you those things to try to get you over them. Although I kind of am. I'm telling you the things in the video that I'm telling you because I promise you, it's your best shot to win them back. It'll sound like I'm telling you these things because I'm trying to get you over them. But the truth is, it's the best way to win them back. And like I've said before, a lot of times, the best path to win somebody back is identical to the plan to try to get over them. So there is a lot of overlap, but we instinctively push it away. Because when we're in a breakup and you're in that dark place, as painful as it is to hyper-fixate on somebody, as much as it can kind of keep you in that dark, quicksand of despair to peek on them online, everybody knows instinctively it is painful. But we tell ourselves we're pulling in information to make the better strategy. The better the information, the better the strategy, the better our odds. That's what we tell ourselves. But if you look back, since you've been fixated on your ex, all it's done is kind of magnify the pain that you're already in. The other reason that we're doing it, not just to get information, but as long as we're doing something, it feels like we're still in the fight. Even if the other person's not doing anything, if I get online in the morning and I can't sleep because I dreamed about her, and I can't sleep because I'm just worried she's not coming back, and I'm worried about who she's with, so I get online and I try to spy on what did she do last night? Is there anybody that she's really focused on yet? While I'm torturing myself by this, there's a part of me that still feels like I'm doing something. Sometimes the desperation of peeking, of looking, of even torturing yourself by imagining what they're doing, in a weird way, it gives you a sense that you're still in the fight. Sometimes misery and despair, as painful as they can be, still give you a sense of connection. Because you can close your eyes and imagine in the future, maybe in a year or two, I won't be looking. And if I'm not looking, if I'm not actively trying to peek in on their lives, if I'm not thinking about this every day, then that means that we're really done. You have a sense of finality when you imagine your life not involving a big section of you feeling torment over their absence. So you hold on to that torment sometimes. So don't do that. It's not actually helping you. That isn't you actually staying in the fight. You staying in torment is not the same thing as you staying in the fight for the relationship. It feels like letting go of that torment pushes them further away, or letting go of that torment is you walking away. It's not the case. So you have to kind of get that set in your mind and really believe it in your heart. You walking away or showing the strength to walk away without that actually being your intent is a big chunk of being able to reattract them. And some of the things I'm going to tell you in this video are ways that you can kind of help focus on yourself. Focusing on yourself and rebuilding that sense of worth and lessening that sense of despair. It will feel emotionally like the more you let go of that despair, the more you're letting them go. It's not true, but it will feel true, so you'll instinctively try to hold on to your pain. The truth is, the stronger you can get, the more of that pain you can let go of, the easier it's going to be for you to project the resilience, strength, confidence, and charisma to pull them back. Do me a favor. I understand it's going to be really tempting to just turn it off and say, I'm not doing that. I'm still focused on them. I need to find another channel. I need to find a video that'll tell me something active I can do right now. Well, that compulsion is what's helping to push that X away even further in most cases. So the first thing I want to talk about is, let's say, working out. And I know that's a really general thing. But here's the thing, not everybody needs to work out. Like, everybody's going to say, hey, that's the number one thing that you need to do. Or it sounds like, it almost sounds cliche, right? After a breakup, make them hurt, make them see that you're even better than before. Well, I talk to a lot of people that are really good-looking people that are still dealing with a breakup. If you're already a certain level of attractiveness is not going to be the key to winning somebody back every time. As much as that's the common belief, it's not the truth. But I will say this, if you were at a certain standard, if you had a certain appearance, and this is not like fat shaming, this is not health shaming, this is not attractiveness or unattractiveness shaming. This is just relationship and attraction dynamics. So let's say that when I met my wife and we started dating and I was around 220, and then I let myself get up to 260. By the way, true story. See, so I'm not trying to present this idea that I've got everything nailed down. Whatever level of attractiveness that you were at when you met them, and this doesn't apply to age. So if you met them 25 years ago, don't feel like you have to find a time machine and go back in time and look like you did before. There's like reasonable age that happens. People instinctively kind of understand that. But if you were at a certain level, if you were really taking care of yourself, if you were focused on making sure you looked and felt good when you fell in love with somebody, and then over the course of the time that the two of you were together, you let yourself go, like it's what's happened to me. I've been focused on other things and I just kept gaining weight until I finally reached the point where I realized, all right, I have to stop it. I'm still with my wife, but I don't want to take her for granted to the point that I just keep letting myself go until I'm reaching out to myself or another coach, trying to figure out how to get my wife back. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's fair, and I'm not saying it should be the cause of a breakup. So I can already read the comment sections that haven't been written yet. I'm not saying that the person that you love shouldn't love you enough to stay with you if you change how you look and your appearance drastically makes a shift. But at the same time, it's one aspect. And once that avalanche starts kind of going downhill, once they're convincing themselves that you don't care enough about them, that their feelings don't matter enough to you, and that they don't feel heard, if they've been telling you that they think there's a problem there and you're not adjusting to it, and to a reasonable degree, again, I'm not trying to cancel or shame anybody, then that can just contribute to this idea that the two of you don't belong together. It can also be one of the things after a breakup that projects strength and shows that you have the willingness, the ability, and the control and the confidence to make necessary changes. It also gets your mind a little bit disconnected from that spell you've been under when you just can't break away from checking on them constantly. So working out. But now here's the thing, if I just say go work out, that can be another problem on its own, because if you're in a breakup, depression is a paralyzer. It's a paralytic. So that's one of the most frustrating things. When you're going through absolute heartbreak, that pain is making it hard for you to move. It's like it rips out your batteries. It's like you don't have any energy. You kind of feel this hopelessness, this complete lack of motivation. And the only thing you might have motivation for is to kind of crawl off the couch or pull your laptop on top of that blanket while you're still on the couch and just looking at them online, checking out the Facebook, the Instagram, the Venmo, the Spotify, whatever else you're peeking at to try to find out the information that you can. Your mind will give you energy to do that, because it's connected to the pain that you're feeling. But if I tell you, hey, go work out, then your mind's going to be thinking, no, I can't do it. I know I should. Intellectually, you'll know that you should work out. But what you should do and what you feel the power to do are going to be two different things in a lot of cases when you're going through a heartbreak. But look at it like this. Don't go work out to try to distract yourself. Don't go work out because it's a thing you're going to do to prove to them that they made a mistake letting you go. That's revenge, and it can be powerful, but it's not usually powerful enough. And at the same time, when you're going through a breakup, you're already feeling low about yourself. You're already feeling beat up. You're already feeling like you're not good enough. Sometimes going to the gym just reinforces that, and who wants it? But there's a process of framing things to yourself mentally and emotionally. Look at it this way. When you're in a state of no contact and you're going through a really painful breakup, you've probably had a thought very similar to, I would do anything to get them back. Okay, so this is part of that anything, and you won't feel like it. Don't wait until you feel like it. As a matter of fact, you might feel an overwhelming flood of dread, a sense of, I can't do it. Even though I want to do it, I can't do it. Well, look at it this way. You're not doing it to try to get over them. You're not doing this to try to show them that they made a mistake. You're doing it as part of a plan to reattract them. Because most of the time, motivation will kick in when you feel like whatever you're doing gives you a chance to get them back. Another way of saying it is, don't go to the gym as a way to distract yourself from the pain. It doesn't work. You could go to the moon, you could go anywhere. When you're in real heartbreak, that pain is going to stick with you. What magnifies the pain is the most instinctive things that we think of. In other words, we think, well, I'm going to reason it out. I'm going to analyze it. I'm going to find out what I've done wrong. Once I know what I've done wrong, I'm going to let them know that I see it. Once they know that I can see their point and I recognize my mistakes, I'll tell them I'm going to heal my mistakes. I'm going to fix my mistakes. I'm going to repair it, and then they'll come back. Wait, that doesn't work? Okay, well, maybe they found somebody else. Let me analyze it. What did that other person have that I don't have? Let me figure out what I can do. So you get the idea. The more you try to reason and analyze your way out of the pain, the more it magnifies the pain. The same is true if you try to tough your way out of it. Unless you're like a douchebag or a narcissist, you don't want to tough your way out of the pain. You don't want to just shake it off and think, well, I love them with all my heart. I really had a sincere intent to spend the rest of my life with them, but they don't want to be with me, so I guess I'm over it. It's amazing how many times people actually expect that of themselves. And they don't realize, even if they were capable of that, that doesn't say good things about you. If you can just simply make a decision that the person I loved, well, they don't love me, so I don't care about them. That's not a healthy reaction. It's supposed to hurt. So stop fighting the hurt. That's just confirmation that you have character, that you have depth, that you have sincerity, that you're an authentic person, and embrace that hurt. Don't listen to what it tells you. It'll tell you that you're broken. It'll tell you they're irreplaceable. It'll tell you that it's hopeless. So don't listen to what the pain tells you, but stop fighting the pain, which is just evidence that you have an authentic, sometimes exceptional heart. That's a good thing. Take that pain and take it with you. Carry it with you. Go to the gym. But when you go to the gym, don't try to go to the gym to not think about how much you miss them. It won't work. Go to the gym and tell yourself, look, I'm doing this because it's not a guarantee they're coming back. But they're probably going to look over. They're probably going to peek over at me at some point in the future because that's human nature. All of us, I guarantee you, everybody watching this video has probably looked back at somebody that they've broken up with, somebody that they're not with anymore. They probably Googled you. You've probably Googled somebody in your past. Now, somebody will jump into the comment section because I said that. No, not me. Anytime a relationship's over with me, I never look back. Well, high five, douchebag. But that's not the common thing. That's not the mark of strong emotional strength. But the point is, when you're going through the workout, go to the workout thinking that I'm taking the pain along with me. I don't know how not to miss him. I don't know how not to miss her. Go to the gym knowing that on that list of anything I would do to win my ex back, that needs to be on there. And this is a kind of a different video for me because this is the first video where I actually have a sponsor, but I'm kind of putting myself into this too, right? Because I have let myself go. And part of ongoing relationship maintenance means that you need to keep doing some of the things you did to draw that person in the first place. So my wife has been very loving and understanding about my weight gain that happened a few years ago. So I'm addressing it this time. So one of the things that I'm putting in, and this is something that I found that I really like, this is where I want to tell you about my first sponsor, Yes Soul, which I'm really happy and excited to be a part of, to have this partnership. They've been really good to me so far. I had some back spasms that have really been limiting me. So So I planned on making this video earlier, but it just made it really hard. But they were really patient with me, and I wanted to be able to share this with my subscribers and followers now. The Yeso bike is, I wanted to get something that kind of lessened the impact on my shoulder and on my knees, because sometimes jogging, my shoulder's junking off this. Sometimes even jogging can hurt it, just the back and forth. But a few things I wanted to share about the bike too. It has a variety of coaches. It has a variety of workouts. It's got its own app. It's got the tension adjustment. So I'll put a link in the comment section below if this sounds like the kind of thing that would help other people that need to address working out, that need to address getting in physical shape. This doesn't apply to everybody. And there's a discount code connected to that. And I have had a chance to try the bike now enough that I can actually recommend it. I've had a few people reach out to me for sponsorships and partnerships. This is the first one that I think is a good fit. So that's why I chose to say yes to this one. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys are impressed with it. If not, that's okay. And I also wanted to include, there are some clients that I have when this was an issue. And I'm gonna put the before and after pictures in this section of the video. Now, I'm trying to hide their faces. I'm not giving away anything. I'm not giving away any identities. All of them have given me permission to put these pictures in the video right now. But I'm not a personal trainer. So I'm not trying to take any kind of credit for what these people have done to really transform themselves in the middle of that pain. I just want to make that clear. Another thing was price point. I didn't want to have a partnership or a sponsorship with somebody that's offering a product when people are already in pain. When I talk to people, they're already feeling overwhelmed. So I don't want to have a product where I'm saying, hey, spend $2,000, spend $1,500, spend $1,000 on something and this will help you. And you don't need to have this bike in order to start working out. So I'm not trying to say those two things are the same. But if you're in that demographic where, like me, at my age, running can really hurt my knees. If I work out too hard, it'll rip apart my shoulder. So this was kind of the perfect thing for me. And if it fits you, there's a link in the description below, along with a discount code. It will help me, but if it doesn't help you, don't do it. If it sounds like it might fit, then I hope you give it a try. And another thing that can help, and don't get me wrong, I know some of the things I'm going to suggest will be very beneficial and very effective for a lot of people. Other things, it might not even be an option. And the number two thing I want to tell you is a dog, a pet, something that gives you a source to put that affection on. Like right here, I'm going to kind of give you an introduction a little bit more into my life. This is my dog, Maverick. Maverick, I'm ADHD, so I tend to feel things at a very deep level. This dog can sense it when I'm hurting. He can definitely sense it when I'm angry. He can sense it when I'm depressed. And this sensitive, beautiful, wonderful animal is one of the few people that, I mean, my wife and my family are included in this group as well, but they know how to read me. They know how to like help me when I'm really feeling kind of overwhelmed. Like this dog, if I get too upset on the couch, he'll run to me. So this dog, if I'm going through a really hard time, he can just kind of sense it. He's a faithful and consistent companion, and he recognizes me even when other people might not. The reason I say that is if you're going through a breakup, a lot of times it feels like that other person forgot who you are. And one of the things that can happen when you fall in love, empathy kicks up a notch. So if I'm falling in love with somebody, not only am I falling in love with her, if we're falling in love together, I'm falling in love with myself. I'm falling in love with the version of myself that I feel like when I'm with her. So when she rejects me, all of a sudden I'm seeing myself through her eyes, and I do it instinctively. Not only am I losing her, in a large degree, I feel like I'm losing the best version of myself. I don't know who I am to a degree. That adds to the panic, that adds to the chaos, that adds to that emotional and internal and mental dissonance or sense of just being shaken. Well, when you kind of have that extra, and sometimes the things that I'm talking about, it's not like any one of them is going to relieve all the pain, but each one of them will give you just a percentage of increase in functionality. It'll give you just a percentage of decrease in pain. So on a scale of 1 to 100, if you're going through a really painful breakup, your pain might be infinity. If you put a number to it, it might be 10,000. Well, having a dog, working out, and some of the other things I'm about to talk about, it takes it from a 10,000 down to like an 8,731. In other words, you're still in overwhelming pain, but it's not quite as bad. And when you've been in agony, when you've been in excruciating pain, you can tell the difference. And I even combine the two. A lot of times I'll work out with my dog. Like I like to box. My dog loves to jump on his tiny legs and pretend like it's boxing with me. It's adorable. And again, I know it sounds silly. I know it sounds generic. And it sounds so silly and it sounds so generic, and you're in so much pain, you might be clicking off right now. You might be walking away from it. But I'm telling you, it makes a difference. I'm not just telling you that as a coach. I'm telling you that from somebody who's lived it, who's gone through the depths of thinking, I don't know if I even want to wake up in the morning. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I can handle this pain in my chest that makes breathing difficult, that makes sleep impossible, and that just keeps the image of her and that pain just branded into my mind all the time. So I know what that feels like. And as basic as these things might sound, you put them together and you will notice a difference. And that difference will keep growing. The last thing I want to mention, it's very similar again, and I know it sounds, again, it's going to sound generic, but take a deep breath. The idea of getting back to your social life. Tell your friends and family that you don't want to talk about your ex. Now, it's okay. You need to have like one friend or relationship coach or one person. It doesn't have to be me. I'm not trying to tell you you need a coach, but I'm trying to tell you need one person that you can tell your hurt to. But that person needs to know to not play your hero. Like, you don't want a friend that you're pouring your heart out. Oh, I miss her or I miss him so much. And then they think, well, it's okay. I think the two of you belong together. So even though you're in no contact, I'm going to reach out to them. Hey, dear Bob, I talk to Karen every day and Karen is still in love with you. I think you're making a big mistake. And so you don't want a friend that's going to be proactive in your defense in this situation, to try to be the matchmaker or to be the avenger for the fact that their friend got hurt. So you don't want that friend to be there to pour out your heart, but you want one friend there that you can kind of trust, that they're just there to let you get it out. Sometimes it can be really beneficial just to articulate what you're feeling. You don't want to stay fixated on it, but you want to have that one friend that you can talk to. Maybe that one friend that just tells you once in a while things are going to be okay. But you don't want to share that with the rest of your friends and family, because they're going to start making you feel like you're broken. They'll tell you things like, I don't know why you're still interested. I don't know why you'd even want to take them back. They were never good enough for you. They never really valued you enough. And as much as that's meant to encourage you, it'll make you feel more broken. Well, I don't know why I still want somebody that cheated on me. I don't know why I want somebody that broke up with me. But they don't want to be with me. That makes me feel broken. And if I still want to be with them, that makes me feel more broken. And if I'm broken, maybe they were right to break up with me. Oh, dear God, I need to get them back, and all of this will go away. So it's a pretty natural compulsion. So just have that one or two friends that you can talk to if you don't have a relationship coach. The rest of them, you want to say, look, of course it hurt. Of course I didn't want to break up. But I'm glad that they told me how they felt, because I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with me. I'm glad they were honest with me, because I wouldn't want to find out later that they didn't feel about me the way I felt about them. So tell your friends and family that you don't want to talk about them. If they bring up your ex, the way you respond when you're talking about your ex is, of course it hurts. Don't deny the pain. That doesn't make you sound strong. It makes you sound delusional or like a douchebag. You don't want to be mad or sad. You want to admit the hurt, but project resilience. Of course it hurts. I'm not shallow. Of course it hurts. I planned on being with them forever. Of course I didn't want this. Of course I wouldn't choose it. But I want to be with somebody who's excited about being with me. That's what you tell the rest of your friends and family. But then make sure that you're still interacting with your friends and family. A lot of times, one of the things we do after a breakup is we think, well, I'll go out when I'm ready to go out. You might not feel like going out for a really long time. When your actions and your behavior disagrees, though, your consistent behavior will actually change your belief. So for a while, you might feel too weak, too broken, too sad, and too depressed to get off that couch and go out with a friend and just spend time with people that you care about. Or you might have tried it and realized it makes it worse. Like, I went to dinner with a friend, or I even went out on another date, and you know what happened? It magnified the pain. All it did was remind me that I'm not with them, and it made me miss them so bad. That's actually really normal. Keep doing it anyway. You want to kind of fill up your schedule with things that you know, even while you're doing them, isn't going to take the pain away. For a while, it will even magnify it, but keep doing it. Because whether you know it or not, you're teaching yourself that you're strong enough to live without them. And being strong enough to live without them is a vital necessity to being strong enough to win them back. And the last thing I want to say is find a hobby. And I know, look, like I said, I tried to warn everybody up front. I know these things are going to sound silly. But I've talked to people that started a hobby or got back involved with a hobby that they had given up years ago. I've talked to writers that became really good writers, artists that became really good writers, musicians. A couple of guys that I've talked to are into archery. That's one of the things that I'm into. For me personally, it's illustration and archery. Those are two of the things that when I was really going through a dark time, I had to make myself get involved with. The truth is, I could think about those things in the moment and there was no interest there. There was not only no interest there was like negative interest there. I not only didn't want to do it, I strongly didn't want to do it. That's normal too. Just take a deep breath and just, even if it's 2 or 3 minutes, it might be something that you haven't done in years, but you remember you used to enjoy, and you start to do it now, and it's like, no, there's no drive here. There's no motivation here. It's just not working. That's a normal thing. Give it time to pass. Do it anyway, and just let it build. What you're going to do when you're tapping into those old hobbies is you're going to remember times when you were happy, whether you want to or not. Now, it might still depress you, but it's going to just take a little edge off. Again, you're not looking for complete erasure of that pain. It's not going to happen. You're just looking for little increments of relief from the anxiety and a little bit of increase in your functionality. This is one of the big things that can happen. The other thing it'll do is it will remind you of your worth. Like, I had forgotten that I was a really good artist, as weird as that sounds. I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed archery. So just those little indicators, just those little moments that remind you of who you are, because to a large degree, in the middle of a breakup, you've forgotten who you are. Or you're magnified and you're locked on all the worst versions of yourself, all the worst attributes of you, because the person you love broke up with you. And you're kind of instinctively looking at yourself through their eyes. So all these things will kind of help resettle and reset how you see yourself, how you see the world, and at the same time, it will project strength, even though inside it's going to create this panic that you're letting them get further away. You're wasting time focused on you. You need to be focused on a plan to win them back. That's the plan that will push them away the furthest. So just trust me. I hope you give this a chance. Let me know about the things. Give me comment sections below. Tell me the things that you might be interested in. Again, the hobbies that you haven't thought about for a long time. And let me know about the dogs and share those stories, because I know there's going to be a lot of them out there, that this dog saved my life, or this cat, or this whatever it is. So I'm already looking forward to reading the comments. And I'll be back again soon. Thanks a lot.